or 6 years ago, a group of young men, they decided to put something together in replica of an event that is convened annually of the world order, to make sure that those who tend to take critical decisions for countries convene at one point and take critical decisions again for subsequent years. And we're talking about the UN summit. It's always convened, and well, when we go there, we have the leaders contributing significantly. But we're talking about a model one, and a model one that will focus on making sure that at least we tend to have some of the best young brains coming together, also trying to look forward to an event that can be replicated in a certain way that is significant of what is held by the matured. And so we have in the studio to give us a lot more enlightenment for this year's UN Model United Nations Summit. And we have in the studio Maclon Philip Jemfi. He's the chairman for the Ghana Model UN. And we say thank you very much.
Thank you.
And when will this year's be convened?
We had the 7th session of the Ghana International Model United Nations last week, which is 5th to 9th January. So we've just finished with
what inspired the formation of the Ghana Model UN?
There is the need to prepare young people for global assignments. So as young people would like to manage the United Nations in future, then there is the need to groom them by equipping them with the necessary leadership skills. So there was the need to create a platform where young people would meet and will be taught by the experienced in the system, so that they can acquire some of the basic leadership skills a diplomat would need. Hence the formation of the Ghana International Model United Nations.
For young people, that's an opportunity for them also to aspire to be what they want to be.
Yes.
What does it teach the young children or the youth who tend to participate in this very model summit?
We take them through research skills. It's very important that if you want to be a diplomat, you must know what to research about, how to go about it, and at when. So we take our young people through research skills, how to research about countries, how to research about committees of the United Nations, how to research about countries that they would represent, and how to research about the issues. We take them through these for them to be aware. Again, we take them through writing skills. Writing at the United Nations level is different from other sectors. So we take them through writing skills, how to write resolutions, how to prepare position papers, just as our presidents do. We take them through all that. How to speak in public is very essential to every growing young person, and that we teach them the tips and the skills in how to speak properly in public. We also teach them how to lobby and negotiate. It's very, very important that you know how you go about it, that you might not be on the same level with somebody, but how to get the person understand your interest and also get in touch for partnership is very important. So we take them through all that. And of course, it helps young people to create friendships amongst themselves. It's important that once people come from different backgrounds, we would be friends and understand each other so that we can become more tolerant and seek for global peace.
Well, have you been having maybe support, complementary support from institutions around? Because we know we have a UN office.
Yes, yes.
But beyond that, even the normal Ghana state institutions, do you get
yes, we've enjoyed, for the past 3 years, we've enjoyed massive support from the United Nations Information Center. They've been our technical advisors and has prepared most of our officials to understand how we can organize these conferences for young people. So United Nations Information Center has been very supportive. Now we are having the United Nations University also on board as partners. And they are also technical advisors as to which topics we must tackle so that we can, whatever we discuss at the model will not just be a model, but it could also be of essence to resolving some of the global challenges that we face as people. We have got some support from the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, and they have been assisting us with some few things, especially on the project Ifiase, which we want to contribute to under the Jimun Care. We have enjoyed support also from the embassies, like the Chinese embassy, the US embassy, the Danish embassy, the German embassy, the Indian High Commission, and the Netherlands embassy. We've got them supporting us. And the Office of the UN.
So that collaboration is there, and you hope to strengthen with other ones as well.
Sure.
Well, we're talking about the Ghana Model UN Summit, and we have the chairperson in the studio already, and McLaw Philip Jemfi, but we'll also be joined by another official of the event organizers. And we know that this very year's theme is pursuing the Sustainable Development Goals, reaffirming the relevance of the UN in achieving a comprehensive global development agenda. And when it was convened, this all the discussions really were geared towards this very thing. In a break, when we come back, we'll admit one more person into the studio, and then we'll have a lot more lengthy discussion on the subject. And we're talking about the Model UN Summit. It was convened here in Accra, but it also geared towards making sure we develop young people who want to aspire to play instrumental roles in global development agenda, but even want to mix themselves into the global UN system to play active roles. And so almost like a startup or a beginning point for a lot more young people who want to aspire to greater heights. And we've been joined in the studio again by the Charity Programs Director, and Edmond is name, Edmond Ofori. Thanks for joining me. Now, particularly when we know that you will need to get or solicit a lot more of the assistance to support the event that you tend to do. How do you tend to go about it?
You know, with every organization, you have to play a form of social responsibility. So we decided to go in line with the Ghana Prison Service to work towards the project Ifiase, where we will take about 10% out of each delegate's fee taken to support the cause.
And so far, your collaboration with the Ghana Prison Service and the various civil society organizations that are making sure they undertake the Ifiase project, how has it been going?
Very well, and we've already met with the director of the Ghana Prison Service, and we've also met with the secretary.
How do you mainstream the children or try to incorporate them into activities of charities?
Through various programs. For example, we have the educational projects where we intend to give scholarships one day to children.
And you hope that will work well as well. Now, McLaw, if we come back to the main issues that are grappling the world, and we know that now the UN has adopted this whole initiative after the MDGs, that brings us into a perspective of what role the countries could play and what role the young people also can play. Where do you choose them in the first place?
We chose the theme, which is pursuing the Sustainable Development Goals, reaffirming the relevance of the United Nations in achieving comprehensive global development agenda. The reason is that the United Nations just turned 70, and despite its challenges, people feel that the United Nations is not doing well. So we decided to fuse the global goals, which have been just also adopted to help better the lives of the people of the world in the next 15 years, to let the people of the world understand that despite the challenges the world's biggest political organization is facing, is the only biggest organization we can help achieve comprehensive development agenda. That if we talk about global peace, no organization apart from the United Nations can actually push that. yes, individuals may play their roles, but it's the United Nations which would push those people to act more, and that there is the need to let people understand the relevance that, yes, the United Nations is not as weak as people may want it to be seen, and that it's through the United Nations that the lives of the people could be made better.
All right. So where do you pick the participants from? From where?
It's all over the world. We put online, and as well here in Ghana we visit some schools. For example, we did have delegates from SHS schools. We did have people from Holy Child, Botry, then I think Holy Child, Agri too. Yeah.
So it's only from 3 schools, or a couple of them also. What about those at the junior high school level and those students who are with those international programming schools?
Our main focus is on the tertiary.
Okay.
But we are now extending it to the senior high school level.
Okay.
Yes.
When the children come together, how do you make sure that the challenges that you tend to encounter, and they would encounter, you tend to deal with them? Or let me just rephrase the question. Usually, you go and pick the children and they come. What deficiencies do you notice, and how do you address them?
We have a very strong team of officials who are very experienced in organizing some of these conferences. So the conference management team ensures that we make provisions for accommodation, make enough provisions for transportation, we make enough provisions for emergency situations, and we have leaders monitoring these delegates at each level. So because of the shortness of time within the conference schedule, we ensure that everything is on point so that no one misses anything. So we have a very strong team which checks on each delegate from the day of application till the end of the entire conference.
Well, very interesting as it is. So, what run us through what happened this year? I mean, prior to the period when the whole summit was convened, and then within the summit period.
Yes. Once applications are done, we would look through the applications and select those who could be at the conference. It's not everyone who applies who is picked. Because we want to ensure that the person applying has much interest in the conference. And afterwards, we send their delegates preparatory guides to them. We send the training manuals, which they can read to understand the whole Model UN concept. Then we send the rules of procedures, which are the parliamentary rules of procedures, and we would send the background guides on the topics that they are going to discuss. These are documents which prepare them before they come. And once they arrive on conference grounds, we organize intensive training sessions, which is mandatory for every participant. Officials and delegates are taken through trainings to ensure that they really understand the rules of procedures and the skills that we want them to acquire. They've actually done so before we have any other activities. This conference, we had a very nice Aquaba and culture night where we did a cultural display, and we did a candle invocations of peace, where we all lighted our candles and invoked peace on our world.
Okay.
Then on the Thursday, which is the open plenary session, we are fortunate to have Her Excellency the UN Resident Coordinator, Her Excellency the Danish Ambassador, Her Excellency the Deputy Netherlands Ambassador, and representatives from the National Youth Authority, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, and officials of UN Information Center, and other dignitaries present at the open plenary session. It was very successful, very nice interactions that our young diplomats had with those in the industry.
But then I have to come to you, Eddie. So at the end of the day, can you run us through how maybe now that you've convened the summit, you keep the flame alive until you organize the next summit?
Yes. No.
So what are you going to do till the next summit period?
We have our social media. We are on social media. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. So to keep it up, we are there putting up pictures of the previous conference, as well as going into contact with other Model United Nations Global, so we could partner and also put it up on the page to call for our local delegates to also apply. So in a way, we are still selling out the Model United Nations Conference. Once you are able to go to another Model UN conference, you get a referral from us. Yes.
Okay, we'll have to call it a morning, but let's wrap up on this. What do the children pick from this? I mean, just coming to sit down and you telling them they need to do this and that and research, and what do they pick from? What do they gain?
With the interactions we've had with the delegates, they are very impressed with what they saw at the conference. And you could testify that after the conference, they have developed a psyche which is to think globally. Those who thought that their world is just Accra, their world is just Kumasi, or their world is just Ghana, which is around them, they are now thinking that what happens elsewhere has an effect on other countries, and that their thoughts have changed. Some have also developed proper skills in handling issues, that because of the skills we gave them during the conference, they understand the way our leaders suffer to ensure that the people of the world become better. Sometimes they have to be at the committee sessions as late as 10 p.m. without taking their supper. Then one guy asked, McLaw, is that how our presidents suffer? And I said, yes. Sometimes they will be in series of meetings ensuring that decisions are taken. So our people are beginning to understand how governance, especially at the global level, is, and that our leaders have to go through a lot of processes in ensuring that decisions are taken and are being implemented to make sure the people of our world become better.
Okay, and that'll be it for the morning, and thanks for passing through the studios. And we've had in the studio McLaw Philip Jamfi. He's a chairman for the Ghana Model UN Summit, and we have to say thanks for passing through, McLaw. And also the charity programs director for the whole initiative is Edward Ofori. Thanks for passing through, Eddie. Okay, we're taking a break. As always, please make sure you get interactive. On Facebook, we have Join Us on TV. It has a link on our Twitter handle. Join Us on TV as well, and also a platform we have on WhatsApp, and you can always get interactive through our WhatsApp platform through the number 056800,000. When you get interactive, please make sure that you tell us what your name is and also what you're giving us a text message from, because we relay a lot more of those messages to you in the course of the whole program. But in the meantime, though, we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll have a lot more for you. Please remember, we're having the Deputy Director for PR of the Ghana National Fire Service, Prince Billy Anaglate, will be in the studio. We're talking a lot more fires. We know a lot more of those incidences have been reported, not only in Kumasi, but also in Ashaiman and elsewhere across the country, but all coinciding with the period of the Hamilton season. And so what do you need to do? So far, what has been the investigations by the Ghana National Fire Service? And so we'll have a lot more discussion on the subject. In the meantime, we're taking a break. We'll be right back.